They called him Diablo, a black stallion with fire in his veins and violence in his eyes. 30 cowboys had tried. 30 men walked away bruised, humiliated, or carried off the ranch in silence. Some swore the horse was cursed. Others said the problem wasn't Diablo. It was pride. Ethan Blackwood, the richest rancher in 3 counties, stood at the corral like a king surveying a battlefield he refused to lose. Money had bought him land, cattle, power, but not control over that wild stallion. Each failed attempt chipped away at his reputation, and in this land, reputation mattered more than gold. That was when the letter arrived. A mail-order bride. Ethan almost laughed. He hadn't ordered a wife out of loneliness, he ordered her out of necessity. A woman to manage the house, quiet the gossip, and keep investors convinced he was a stable man. Nothing more. Then she stepped off the stagecoach. Clara Whitmore wasn't what anyone expected. She was modest, calm, and carried herself with a strength that didn't demand attention. While the cowboys whispered and smirked, she watched Diablo from across the fence, not with fear, but with understanding. That was the first mistake everyone made. When Ethan, half mocking and half irritated, dared her in front of the men. Train him. If you fail, you leave. If you succeed, the ranch is yours to help run. Silence fell. Clara didn't hesitate. I accept. The cowboys laughed. Some turned away, unwilling to watch another disaster. But Clara didn't approach Diablo like the others, with ropes, force, or ego. She entered the corral empty-handed. No saddle, no whip. Just patience. For 3 days she didn't try to ride him. She spoke to him. Sat near him. Let him rage until the rage burned itself out. On the 4th day, Diablo lowered his head. On the 5th, he followed her. And on the 7th day, when the entire ranch gathered, breath held, Clara climbed onto the back of the wild stallion and rode him like he'd been waiting for her his entire life. Ethan Blackwood felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. Respect. And something far more dangerous. If this story is gripping you already, subscribe now, because what comes next will change everything. Victory didn't earn Clara applause. It earned suspicion. Men who'd failed couldn't. Except that a woman, an outsider, had done what they couldn't. Whispers followed her, through the ranch. But Ethan watched differently now. He noticed how the horses calmed near her, how workers listened when she spoke, how the land itself seemed to breathe easier. Clara didn't want power. She wanted purpose. She helped rebuild broken fences, healed injured horses no one else would touch, and turned chaos into rhythm. Slowly, the ranch changed. Profits rose. Accidents fell. And Ethan realized something terrifying. She was becoming indispensable. But Clara had her own wounds. She hadn't ordered a new life for comfort. She was running from loss, from betrayal, from a past that taught her strength was survival. When trouble came, rival ranchers sabotaging land, a fire threatening the stables, it was Clara who stood firm while others panicked. Side by side, she and Ethan fought to save everything. That night, under a sky heavy with stars, Ethan finally spoke the truth he'd been avoiding. I didn't dare you because I believed you'd win, he said. I dared you because I didn't believe in miracles. Clara met his gaze. Miracles, she said softly. Believe in people who refuse to quit. What grew between them wasn't sudden passion, it was trust earned, tested, unbreakable. The wild stallion had been the first thing Clara tamed. The ranch was the second, and the guarded heart of the richest man in the county. That took a little longer, but it was worth every moment. If you believe strength isn't about force but faith, then subscribe to the channel now, because stories like this remind us that sometimes the bravest soul arrives quietly. The ranch had finally found peace, or so it seemed. Morning sunlight spilled across the plains. The cattle moved without chaos, and Diablo, once the terror of the land, now followed Clara like a shadow. To the outside world, Blackwood Ranch looked stronger than ever. But peace has a way of inviting storms. The trouble arrived on horseback. Dust rose on the horizon just before noon. Clara noticed it first. Her grip tightened on the fence as 3 riders approached, men who didn't belong. Their posture carried arrogance, the kind that came from unfinished business. Ethan knew that posture well. Leading them was Cole Mercer, a rival rancher, a gambler, and the man who once tried to ruin Ethan before failing spectacularly. Cole dismounted slowly, eyes scanning the ranch like he was measuring what to steal. Then he saw Clara. His smirk deepened. "Well," Cole said, tipping his hat. "I heard a woman was running this place now." "Didn't believe it." Ethan stepped forward, voice cold. "Say what you came to say and leave." Cole's eyes never left Clara. "Oh, I came for her." The air changed. Clara didn't flinch, but her past surged forward like a shadow she couldn't outrun. Cole Mercer wasn't just a rival rancher. He was part of the life she fled. A man who believed women were tools, not equals. A man who once tried to break her spirit. And failed. "I'm not your concern anymore," Clara said steadily. Cole laughed. "Funny thing about debts," he replied. "They follow you." That night, the ranch was struck. Fences cut. Horses spooked. A warning shot fired into the sky. Fear spread fast, but Clara didn't retreat. Instead, she did something no one expected. She confronted Cole alone, under the moonlight near the same corral where Diablo once raged. Clara stood face to face with the man who symbolized everything she escaped. This time she wasn't powerless. She wasn't afraid. "You don't own my past," she told him. "And you won't touch my future." Cole raised his gun. Before he could pull the trigger, Diablo charged. The stallion slammed into the fence, screaming like thunder itself. Cole stumbled back, terror flashing in his eyes. The message was clear. Some things could not be controlled anymore. By dawn, Cole Mercer was gone. But the danger wasn't. Ethan realized something that morning as he watched. Clara tend to the horses like nothing had happened. Loving her meant protecting her past, her present, and whatever threats dared approach her future. And Clara realized something too. This ranch wasn't just a place she worked. It was home. If you're feeling the tension rise, subscribe now because what's coming next will test loyalty, love, and survival in ways no one expects. The warning Cole Mercer left behind didn't fade with his disappearance. It lingered. Ethan felt it in the way the men checked their rifles twice before nightfall. Clara sensed it in Diablo's restless pacing, the stallion's ears flicking toward the dark, like he could hear trouble before it arrived. Something was coming, and this time, it wouldn't ride in with arrogance and threats. It would come to destroy. The attack happened just before dawn. Flames burst from the far barn, tearing through dry wood like hunger unleashed. Horses screamed. Men shouted. Chaos swallowed the ranch in seconds. Ethan ran toward the fire without hesitation. But Clara was already there, cutting loose trapped horses, smoke burning her lungs. "Clara, get out!" Ethan yelled. She shook her head. "Not without them." A beam collapsed. Fire roared higher. Ethan charged in, pulling her back just as the roof caved in behind them. For the first time since he'd known her, Clara trembled, not from fear, but from the realization that this place, this life, could vanish in a single night. By sunrise, the damage was clear. Someone wanted Blackwood Ranch finished. The men gathered, angry and afraid. Some talked about leaving. Others demanded retaliation. Ethan listened, jaw tight, but his eyes kept drifting to Clara, standing tall despite the soot on her face. That was when he made his choice. "This ranch stands," Ethan said firmly. "Anyone who wants to run can go.
Anyone who stays, stays together."
No one moved. And then Clara stepped forward. "We rebuild," she said, "stronger, smarter, and we don't become what our enemies are." Her words settled the men like rain on dust. That night, Ethan finally faced what he'd been fighting since the day she rode Diablo. "I didn't ask you here to be brave," he told her quietly, "and I didn't plan to care." Clara met his gaze, voice steady. "Neither did I." Silence stretched between them, heavy with everything unsaid. Then Ethan did something no one on the ranch ever expected. He asked. "Stay," he said. "Not because of a contract. Not because of the ranch. Stay with me." Clara looked out across the land she had healed, defended, and nearly lost. "This time," she said softly, "I'm not running." The fire had tried to break the ranch. Instead, it forged something unbreakable. And somewhere in the dark, their enemy realized one truth too late. The woman they underestimated had become the heart of Blackwood Ranch. If this story is pulling you in, subscribe now, because the final chapters will bring justice,